describe him just a very simple, kind, very affectionate on what he does. He's a teacher.
I see her as being very compassionate and loving and caring about the well-being of others, including animals, and you can see that with our cats that I have.
Brian means a world to me. I mean, I really love him with my whole heart.
Mojgan met all the things that I felt in my heart would help me to have a fulfilled life. She is the complete package.
My name is Mojgan Sultani. I'm from Iran. I was born in Iran in 1973.
My name is Brian Didier. It's a little bit of French because I was born in New Orleans, Louisiana, the French part of the USA. My mom was Spanish and dad was French.
I'm coming from a family of 5. I have 2 brothers, one younger and one older than me.
I was born 53 years ago. Yeah. I have 1 brother and 2 sisters.
From the very beginning, I knew that I'm going to go for nursing because that was one of my passions.
I finished high school in Southern California, and I decided to go to the University of Southern California because I was interested in petroleum engineering. Then I actually had some health challenges and needed to change schools, like actually stop school altogether for a while, and then I finally transferred to the University of Texas. And because my former engineering background in classes and such, I had a lot of physics classes, so I started teaching physics at the high school level in Texas. That was the beginning of my career. Great friends invited me to participate in a short program, just supposed to be like 6 weeks over in Beijing, and 6 weeks turned into 8 years. If that's a responsibility for us to help each other grow spiritually, then that means we have to be practicing our virtues, our spiritual qualities all the time, which is a big responsibility actually, because that's the challenge in this world. Most of the time we're forgetting them.
We have a lot of responsibilities toward each other. We need to help each other grow in any aspect in our lives. Spirituality is one of it, and just we need to be tolerant of each other's differences. We need to accept our the different ideas and way of thinking. And I think something that is really, really important, because we are coming from 2 different cultures. Sometimes I say something, but he misunderstands that, and it causes some conflict. So I think when things are not clear, we need to clear that for each other. Because
but that's the challenge. You don't always know when they're not clear when you're speaking.
Right, that's right. So we figured this out, and then we told each other, if something I say and bothers you, just let's clarify it. Because probably in maybe 90% of the time, it's not something that I want to hurt you, or I want to say that in a mean way. It's just my way of saying it, and it's mostly a cultural way of saying it or doing it. So it has no bad intention into it. I have so many best friends, and one of them, her name is Afsaneh, and she used to live in Texas. One day she called me and she said, "Hey Mojgan, I know this guy, he's a Baha'i, and I think you guys are a perfect match. Do you want to get to know him?" I said, "Yeah, sure, why not?"
So I went to a Baha'i devotional meeting. It was like a prayer gathering where everyone's welcome and we say prayers. And at that meeting in Corpus Christi, Texas, I met Afsaneh and Richard. And Afsaneh grew up with Mojgan in Tehran. I guess they were really good friends because they happened to live right next to each other. And Afsaneh and Richard started playing matchmaker.
A few days later, Brian added me on Facebook, and we just exchanged few messages on Facebook before we eventually met each other.
They had told me there was this girl in California that if you meet her, we really think you'll like her, blah, 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 blah. But she had 2 strikes against her from the beginning, in my mind, my limited, biased thinking. One, she was a California girl, which I hadn't had previous good experiences with. And 2, She was Persian. So I was thinking, no, I don't think this is going to work out.
Even before I saw him in person, I really liked him. I was attracted to his personality and his just from exchanging some messages with him. I really liked him. I thought, okay, I think he's a really good match with me. So, but when I finally saw him, and maybe after 2 or 3 times after seeing him, I said, yeah, I think he's the one.
When I met Mojgan in person, no, I could tell right away she was really different and she was really special. And thank God, he gave me a chance to meet her. Your spirit knows much more before your brain does. You have to rely more on your spirit to make a decision about marriage, I believe. So getting together with her in person, I could feel it, and I could hear in her words the way she spoke. Like, this is a very special person.
And Mrs. Sultani Didier.
My family, they were okay. I mean, my mom and my dad, they said, you know the person, you make the decision. It's up to you. But just make sure that you are doing the right thing. And I said, as far as I know him, I think this is the right decision. And they had already met him before that, and they liked him. Everybody in my family liked him. He met everybody, all of my family. He refers to my family as a big family. He always jokes and says, I have 50 cousins, which is not true. And, and he kept saying that, yeah, I met all of your 50 cousins and they all like me. And so my family, they had a really positive reaction and they liked him.
My parents didn't have a reaction because they were already expecting it from me. From that visit in the previous summer, this was January, after the summertime before. So this was about 4 or 5 months later. And my mom and dad, immediately after Mojgan came up to visit, they were all about, so when are you going to get married? When are you going to get married? They were just waiting.
We actually had a little bit of a disagreement on how to have the wedding and how many people to invite. And I said from the beginning, I said, you know what, I cannot eliminate any of my cousins, aunts, and uncles. No way. I'm going to invite all of them. And all of them together, it's going to make us over 50 people. And finally, he agreed to that.
And it was nice. It actually turned out really, really nice. It was on a beautiful golf course resort type of place. And it was quick. It was not drawn out all day, all night long. It was like 4 hours. And see it on a bigger screen. It's awesome. Science rules! Hopefully people would think about this before they even get married. Like, why are you getting married? There needs to be a meaning to it, a purpose to it. There's a twofold purpose, that we help each other grow and develop spiritually, make those spiritual qualities, those virtues inside us stronger. If we have a family or young people, you help them to grow up and develop these virtues too. That's the purpose of marriage. And the meaning of that for her individually, or particularly for me, would be that it's like the movie, where you complete me. I know it's kind of a corny romantic line in a Tom Cruise movie, but it's true. That's what you should feel from the other person. And to me, the meaning is, I'm not as good alone as I am with her.
There was no official proposal for us. This is what happened. He came to visit me. Maybe the third day that we met, he said, I think we are going to be good matches. So what do you think? I said, yeah, I think the same thing.
We were sitting on the couch talking about the future, and then I think I just said, okay, I think we know. We want to give this a go. Let's give it a shot. See what the future has in store for both of us together, and make this commitment. And I gave her the ring. I actually think the secret to this to the greatness of a marriage is laughter. It makes me laugh a little bit thinking about all the laughter. There's so much laughter in areas and along lines and topics that I wouldn't expect. But suddenly we start laughing. Even when we have a disagreement, actually most of the time when we have disagreements, she makes me laugh. How do we calm down the disagreements that actually start becoming fights?
I think I try to make a joke out of it most of the time. Just joke around. I mean, just use that subject or whatever is the cause of the disagreement and make it like a joke and just continue a funny phrase. Just don't let him continue with his argument. Just continue a funny phrase and don't let him talk. That's what I do. And I noticed that it's very, very, very successful. So finally, I mean,
so
eventually...
now I'm learning one of the tricks.
Yeah, eventually he starts laughing or he just stops arguing with me. So that helps. And that gives us a break to calm down and then sit down and talk like a civilized person eventually.
Yeah, that's good. There is a lot of laughter. I think I mentioned that before, even when we have disagreements. So I think also it just comes down to not taking any problem too seriously, that it is part of the journey to have these conflicts, so to speak, but only because you have different opinions on something. It's not a right or wrong thing. And I think ultimately you try to come to the overall view that nothing is like make or break. Life is a journey. There's going to be so many twists and turns and things you don't expect. And I think laughter helps you to smooth everything out and to have as pleasant a journey as possible.
I am a person who likes to have everything in a neat way, clean, organized, and he's complete. I mean, not that he's not clean, he's clean, but he's not a clean freak like I am. And he doesn't agree with like, oh, we have to be perfect all the time, our house has to be clean all the time.
Persians, they are very neat and clean. I don't think, I haven't been in a Persian house that's like not immaculate practically. And I don't really care that much about that stuff. I'm more about let's be comfortable and casual. Been my team for a long time.
Well, I think religious beliefs plays a very, very vital role in our marriage. As I mentioned earlier, I think it's one of the most important factors because the very first common thing between Brian and I is the Baha'i faith. So I think it's the most important factor in our marriage. It's the faith, the Baha'i faith, and the following the Baha'i rules.
I second that. These religious beliefs, they give us a common foundation on which to build the rest of the relationship. That solid foundation you need.
Yeah.
You can always come back to. Everybody gets off course in life and has bad days and stuff, but if you have that common foundation, that solid center that's really outside of yourself, then you can get back to that and find the unity again that you need to continue in a relationship. All about unity. And that's what the Baha'i faith is all about, unity.